The alarm klaxons screamed through Sector 7 of the galactic nursery station, their wailing pitch designed to alert every species within a 3-kilometer radius. Security Chief Vexthar, a hulking Crothian with 4 arms and scales that could deflect plasma bolts, sprinted toward the source of chaos with his entire team flanking him. "All units converge on the recreational dome," he barked into his comm device, his mandibles clicking in agitation. "We have a code Vermilion. Multiple Apex Cubs have breached containment." Through the transparent aluminum viewing panels, Vexithar could see the nightmare unfolding. 17 Apex Cubs, each the size of an Earth grizzly bear despite being only 6 months old, were rampaging through the dome. Their species was among the most dangerous predators in the known galaxy, classified as Class 9 Hostile by the Galactic Council. The cubs' crystalline claws carved through reinforced furniture like it was tissue paper, their roars shaking the very foundations of the station. "Sir, the containment barriers are failing," Officer Zinko reported, his blue skin paling to an almost white hue. "They're heading toward the civilian sectors." Vexthar's hearts sank. If those cubs reached the civilian areas, the death toll would be catastrophic. Apex predators had no concept of restraint. Even as infants, their hunting instinct was hardwired from birth. "Deploy the neural dampeners," Vexthar commanded. "Maximum setting." The security team activated their most powerful containment technology, devices capable of pacifying even the most aggressive species. Waves of electromagnetic energy pulsed through the dome, designed to overwhelm the nervous systems of the rampaging cubs and force them into unconsciousness. The cubs roared louder, their eyes glowing with primal fury. They didn't even slow down. "It's not working!" Zinko shouted over the chaos. "The neural dampeners are having no effect." Vexthar watched in horror as 3 cubs charged directly at a group of terrified Quellan children who had been frozen in fear. This was it. Despite all their technology, all their protocols, they were about to witness a massacre. Then a voice cut through the chaos, calm, steady, utterly human. "That's quite enough." Every being in the dome turned toward the source of the voice. Standing at the entrance to the recreational area were 2 humans, Anna, the station's xenobiologist, and Ruben, her partner in the cultural exchange program. They had arrived on the station only 3 weeks ago, part of humanity's first official delegation to the galactic community. Anna stepped forward, her movements deliberate but unhurried. She was small by galactic standards, barely 1.7 meters tall, with dark hair pulled back in a practical ponytail. Ruben followed close behind, his athletic frame relaxed, despite the 17 apex predators between them and the security team. "Humans, stay back!" Vexthar roared. "Those are apex cubs! They'll tear you apart!" Anna didn't even glance at him. Her eyes were locked on the largest cub, the one leading the charge toward the Quellan children. She raised one hand, just one hand, and made a sharp gesture. "Sit." The word carried no technological enhancement, no psionic amplification, no subspace modulation. It was just a word, spoken in that uniquely human way that somehow conveyed absolute authority and expectation of obedience. The lead cub skidded to a halt so abruptly that 2 smaller cubs crashed into its hindquarters. Its glowing eyes fixed on Anna, and for a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, predator and human stared at each other. Then, impossibly, the massive cub sat down. Its haunches lowered to the floor, its crystalline claws retracted, and it tilted its head in what could only be described as confusion. "Good," Anna said, her voice warming slightly. "Very good." Ruben moved to her side, his attention sweeping across the other 16 cubs. They had all frozen, watching their pack leader with uncertainty. He made the same gesture Anna had, his voice carrying that same inexplicable quality. "All of you, sit now." One by one, the cubs complied. Within 30 seconds, all 17 apex predators were sitting in neat rows, their earlier fury completely evaporated. A few of the smaller ones were even making soft chirping sounds, the apex equivalent of a whimper. The silence in the dome was absolute. Vexithar felt his mandibles hanging open in shock, a gesture considered deeply improper for a Crothian of his rank. But he couldn't help it. In 20 years of security work across a dozen stations, he had never witnessed anything like this. Anna walked calmly through the rows of sitting cubs, checking each one with a practiced eye. The predators that moments ago had been unstoppable killing machines now sat perfectly still, tracking her movements with something that looked disturbingly like reverence. "They're just babies," she said, her voice carrying easily in the stunned silence. "Scared, overstimulated, and acting out because no one's teaching them proper behavior." But they're apex predators," Zinko stammered. "Class 9 hostile classification, the most dangerous species in the—" "Classification based on what?" Reuben interrupted, crouching down to scratch one cub behind its auditory ridge. The creature's eyes half closed in pleasure, a deep, rumbling purr emanating from its chest. "Their potential for violence? Sure, but that's not the same as intent." Anna reached the lead cub and held out her hand. The massive creature leaned forward, pressing its snout against her palm with surprising gentleness. "On Earth, we've been training apex predators for thousands of years. Wolves, big cats, bears. Species just as dangerous as these little ones. The key isn't domination or suppression, it's establishing trust and clear boundaries." "This is impossible," Vexthar breathed, finally finding his voice. "Our xenobiologists said apex cubs couldn't be trained, couldn't be controlled, that their predatory instinct was too strong." Anna looked up, a slight smile playing at her lips. "Your xenobiologists never lived on a death world. They don't understand what it means to evolve alongside predators, to become partners with them rather than prey or predator." Reuben stood up, dusting off his hands. "Humans didn't become the dominant species on Earth by being the strongest or the fastest or the most deadly. We did it by being persistent, adaptable, and really, really good at making friends with things that could kill us." As if to emphasize his point, 3 of the cubs had abandoned their sitting positions to crowd around him, nuzzling against his legs like oversized puppies. He laughed and gave each of them attention in turn. "Someone panicked them," Anna observed, her eyes narrowing as she examined the containment unit in the corner. "Look at the barrier settings. Someone set them to maximum repulsion. These cubs woke up surrounded by painful electromagnetic fields. No wonder they freaked out." Vexithar felt a wave of shame wash over him. We were following standard protocols for aggressive species containment. Standard protocols designed by species that never had to live with predators," Anna said, but her tone wasn't accusatory, merely stating fact. "You isolated them, made them feel threatened, and then hit them with pain when they reacted with fear. From their perspective, they were defending themselves." She stood up, and the lead cub immediately rose as well, staying close to her side. "Reuben and I can train your staff. Proper handling techniques, behavioral conditioning, positive reinforcement. Within a month, these cubs won't just be manageable, they'll be model residents of your station." "And if the Galactic Council questions this approach?" Vexithar asked, though he already knew his answer. He had seen the impossible become reality in the last 10 minutes. Reuben grinned, that uniquely human expression that somehow conveyed confidence, challenge, and warmth all at once. "Then we'll introduce them to our dogs. If they can handle seeing a species we literally engineered from wolves to be our best friends, they might start understanding what humanity brings to the galaxy." The cubs, all 17 of them, had now formed a loose circle around Anna and Reuben, their earlier aggression completely replaced with curious contentment. The humans stood at the center like pack leaders, calm and confident, while the most dangerous predator cubs in the known galaxy sat patiently, waiting for their next command. Vexthar looked at his security team, saw the same awed expression on every face, and made a decision that would reverberate through the Galactic Council for years to come. "Officer Zinko," he said quietly, "note in the official report, human classification upgraded. Recommendation: when dealing with hostile wildlife or predator species, consult humans first. They seem to have experience we lack." Anna overheard and smiled. "We've had practice, about 4 billion years worth if you count our whole evolutionary lineage. We learned one important lesson. Sometimes the scariest things in the universe just need someone to believe they can be better." As the security team began the cleanup process and the Quellan children cautiously approached to pet the now docile cubs, Reuben leaned over to Anna. "Think we should tell them about cats?" "Let's save that revelation for when they're ready," Anna replied, watching one of the cubs roll over for belly rubs from a delighted child. One impossibility at a time. The cubs, perhaps sensing they had found their pack, settled in around their new human leaders. And somewhere in the galactic data net, a single report began to circulate among xenobiologists. Humans. Reassessment required. Classification pending.